An alternative analysis of the World Cup by the man who helped shape Guardiola's City. Football's finished, and now whatever this is has emerged. I don't dare name it. The purpose of the game has been subverted. Now they're looking more for consumers than fans. The industry needs TV money. But, even so, I've seen every game at this World Cup. I always do. I prefer international football to club football because, for me, the best players come together for international football, and so the interactions between them are richer. I could prove it to you. I've got notes on thousands of games between 1950 and 1990. 12 terabytes worth are sitting on my desk in front of me. The best players come together for international football, and, thank God, they're not trapped by the omnipotence of the manager because there's no time to coach. It's wonderful, the fact that managers can't change the game as much at a World Cup for the ones who really matter, the players. It really is wonderful because we, the managers, have too much influence. It's unbearable. We have our own ideas and we say that we espouse them to help people to understand the game. Bullshit! It should be for the players to understand the game as they understand it. And everything is globalized now. At club level, if you go to a training session in Norway and one in South Africa, they'll be the same. Look inside to find spaces outside, pass here, pass there. The good dribblers are over, my friend. Where can you find them? I can't see any. I watch all the tournaments in the world. I'm working in Qatar now. I was in England recently. Japan, China, South America. Well, in South America you can still find a skillful player with qualities taught on the street rather than an academy. We don't even realize the mess we've made. We have globalized a methodology to an extent that it's crept into the World Cups. If you got the Cameroon and Brazil players to change shirts at halftime, you wouldn't even realize. Maybe with the tattoos or the yellow hair, but not the performance. Everything is dos toques. 2 touches. Because they all train with 2 touches, they all play with 2 touches. We've enforced el dos toquismo, as I call it. And I say this as a big exponent of a lot of these methods and ways of thinking. I'm like a regretful father. If there was one person I would really like to take issue with now, it would be me from 25 years ago. Don't trust anybody who says they don't regret anything in life. But anyway, this World Cup. I remember Tunisia, Denmark from the first week. It was my favorite game, 0-0, but it was full of chances. Even more than in Spain's 7-0 win against Costa Rica, where, by the way, they played so well. With the right tempo, right spaces, quick execution. Spain were unlucky to come up against 2 teams, in Japan and Morocco, who did not feel the need to open up spaces in their defense to try to win the game. Morocco's approach was that when the opponent had the ball 50 meters from their goal, they acted like they were 10 meters away. A lot of teams have done that in this World Cup. Morocco did not sit very deep against Spain. Sometimes they defended 10 meters outside their area. It's true that it might have looked like it needed Spain to put more balls into the box, try to provoke random actions and go for the second ball, but then to win the second ball you need to press higher and be really close to the opponent. If that second ball goes to Hakim Ziyech or Sofiane Boufal, what a player he is, by the way. And they dribble up the pitch, set up a counter and score a goal, everyone will criticize you as well. It's funny now how everyone talks about high block, low block. The only blocks that I know are apartment blocks. With a garage? Without a garage? This eagerness to find vocabulary that makes football more difficult to understand pisses me off. Whatever block Morocco had, it was a lot of players working in conjunction with each other, paying an incredible desire not to open up spaces. It is getting harder and harder to overcome this approach. Teams can move a whole line, midfield line, defensive line, from one side of the pitch to the other almost quicker than the ball can travel. You have to have a lot of quality to beat it. Spain were so worried about getting caught that they didn't really risk certain passes inside. It was the opposite with Argentina when they lost against Saudi Arabia. They were trying to make the killer pass too soon, and when you do that, you're exposed to the counterattack. Against Poland, Argentina changed some players, but above all, they were more patient, they chewed things over and improved. But I wouldn't dare to say which team has been the best because they are all so similar and the players are so identical. It's true now that there aren't bad players anymore. But there are no exceptional players either. In trying to kill the bad guys, we've killed the good guys, too. There are some trends from this World Cup and not all bad. I think that we've seen how teams, when they're losing, have been more themselves, they dared to do more things. And then when they equalized, suddenly they made a step back again. That's happened a lot. And one thing that we should start considering more, there are more and more goals from cutbacks or backwards passes. Because teams try to play as far as they can from their own goal, when they break through the opponent's defensive line, they're going so quickly that the players in the middle go ahead of the one who has the ball out wide. I used to say in Manchester that the last player to arrive to the box is the first one to be able to shoot. I tell that to my strikers all the time: the closer you get to the goal, the further you are from scoring. Every team is so concerned about defending and controlling the spaces close to their goal that there are now more threats from further away. Sometimes you need to step back. So let's talk about perspective. People talk about Cristiano Ronaldo not starting in the last 16 for Portugal and it being a great decision. This was already covered by Greek philosophers: fine is whatever ends fine. But until it ends, we don't say anything, just in case. This is called opportunism, simple as that. How many of the opinions that you hear about football were said at the start of matches? Pay attention to what is said before the game, as long as it has some reasoning, of course. After the game, everyone is clever. You know that if Portugal had lost 2-0, then it would have been a terrible decision to leave out Ronaldo. How on earth are you giving the number 9 shirt to a kid who's been in elite football for 4 days? I sometimes think that the 90 minutes of a game are almost an inconvenience to some people who just want to praise the winners and talk shit about the losers. So I'll tell you things that I believe before the tournament. I don't want to be an opportunist. For me, England and Portugal are the two teams with the biggest number of elite players in an age group that will also give them good chances in the future. One player I'm crazy about for England and hasn't played at all: James Maddison. I love this guy, he excites me. He's an authentic footballer, more of a street product than an academy product. He's daring. He has nerve. A manager can tell him to do A, but if he believes B is the right option, he'll do B. I just love this. Any idea that comes into James Maddison's head is 100 times better than any idea you will find at any coaching conference. Look at the quality that England have in their squad, and even some of the guys who have been left out. And then Portugal, the young centre-back from Benfica, Antonio Silva, is not even playing. Do you know how good this kid is? Incredible. He's absurd. The guy who replaced Ronaldo, Gonçalo Ramos. I'm more surprised that when Ronaldo does not play, Lillo is not the replacement. I'm more like, wow, Leo is not playing, is something happening with him? But then there's Ramos, a guy who is capable not just of scoring 3 goals, but every time he was in contact with the ball he made the move better. He improved everything. He was really clean. And João Cancelo is capable of making better decisions in the final third than most attackers. It's difficult for me to highlight more new players, basically because I already knew them. And I'm not doing that to big myself up, but because there is so much scouting and so much analysis that barely any player seems new to us anymore. You watch Sofian Amrabat against Spain, I already knew him. I hadn't seen him doing a performance as complete as on Monday, but I know how he is as a player. Years ago, the World Cup was also about discovering new footballers from unknown countries. They had their own characteristics, they weren't identikit players like nowadays. This scouting is like picking mushrooms in the forest, as we do in Spain. If you go to the forest after 7 a.m., you'll see that all the trees are depleted, people have already been and taken all the good mushrooms. If you go to the forest after 7 a.m., you'll see that all the trees are depleted, people have already been and taken all the good mushrooms. With footballers, it's just the same. Everyone has been there and seen them all. It's difficult to find a mushroom that someone has not already picked. Are you wondering how we get football back to how it was? Forget it. The type of person who plays football is different now, but that happens in every field: music, art, whatever. We are formed by the culture around us, and the new generations will get used to VOR as a natural thing. Do not get me started on that. Or statistics either. You and the context that you are in are the same thing. Take the cactus, for example. Years ago, a cactus did not have spines. We adapt to the environment, the context we're living. And so, over time, the cactus grew its spines. That's what we have now.